When we purchased this 1920s solid stone house, we knew that we were going to have to touch every surface to bring it up to modern standards. Now, some of the areas you can see in these original pictures look pretty updated, but behind the walls, there were a lot of things that we knew we would have to address to make this home financeable for a new buyer. For instance, it had knob and tube wiring, which you're no longer allowed to use and you can't get insurance on. It had a T-lock roof. There were a lot of basic things like that, but then down to the basement, half of the basement still had a dirt floor. And then the whole animal of approaching a stone exterior home. This house was built out of solid stone. And so we had to be very intentional and think about every decision we made because those were such thick walls to drill through. It wasn't just like when you're working on a stick-built home. We demoed everything down to the studs because we knew we were going to have to rewire. And actually, we also ended up knocking out the ceiling because they had dropped the ceiling at one point. This is pretty common with older homes. I think when they're trying to lower utility bills and they have a high ceiling, they'll build a drop ceiling to make it more energy efficient. This was actually in my office, was the same thing when we renovated it. So I actually went up in the attic on the rafters and I just kicked out the plaster and the little boards from above to get most of that out. And so I bruised the heck out of my legs, but that was just the easiest way to do it. Now, one of the bedrooms that became our primary bedroom did not have a closet, so we bumped that wall out and took some of the kitchen space to add a closet to be able to make it a conforming room. And then the space between the two bedrooms was one long, kind of inefficient bathroom, and we were able to make that into 2 bathroom spaces. One of the most discouraging parts of a project of this scale is that there's so much that you have to do behind the walls and to the framing before you can get to putting it back together. So it really feels like you're not making any progress for a really long time. And so, we had to shore up some of the floor joists that had been cut over the years. We had to reinforce the deck because it was held up with random boards and a jack. We changed some of the framing locations, obviously rewired, replumbed not only the fresh water lines, but the sewer lines, had to pour concrete in the basement. There were so many pieces before we got to even start thinking about putting it back together. But I'll tell you what, when we got to start rebuilding, that was when it was like encouraging and we could actually feel like, oh my gosh, we're getting somewhere. Just getting to the point of having the drywall installed and being able to put that first coat of primer on those boards is such a light at the not end, but toward the end of the tunnel. And so that's such an encouragement when you get to that point, and it just really brings it all together. You've been looking at this shell and these studs and this wire and these pipes for so long. And once you have that drywall up, you can really start to see what your space is going to feel like. For the front of the house, we tore off the base of the porch that had been kind of stuccoed-ish, sort of stucco, and we did horizontal cedar boards. We also used the existing posts for the fence and added a few extra and took the vertical pickets down and went horizontal and built a cool little statement mailbox. We went ahead and spray painted a strip of bright neon green because right here in the video, it might be hard to see, but there's a big change in the curb right here and people were tripping on it all the time. So even though the curb the city put in place, we just didn't want somebody to get hurt. What you can't see is we had gutters installed and we did gutters underneath the ground so that all the moisture is going away from the foundation of the home. We also rocked the front yard just so it's low maintenance and it just looks a little more well taken care of than the dirt and weeds. There were a lot of older charming features on the house that I would have loved to save and actually did try before eventually realizing for energy efficiency, we just couldn't. And so we did save this front door and did a weather stripping and it's beautiful, but everything else we pretty much had to replace, including all of the windows. We took the large, awkward bathroom and made it into 2 bathrooms. So we had a bathroom for everybody to use, and then we had an ensuite off of the primary bedroom. And both of these bathrooms got large format tile on the floor and micro cement surrounds in either the tub or the shower. Now in the main bathroom, it was just a basic bathroom, but in the primary suite's bathroom, we did a custom shower pan. I have a video on how to build that to any size if you need to. And then we also did a really cool rainfall shower head mounted on the ceiling. I also have a video of how to do that in a cold weather climate. We worked with the inspector to do a double insulated wall so we could have plumbing running through the attic and not have to worry about it freezing in our cold temperatures. Now, I totally get that the basement isn't the most exciting revelation of the whole house. It's not shiny and sparkly and fresh like the bathrooms and the kitchen, but I do think it is one of the biggest transformations into a useful space. So when we bought this, half of the floor down here was concrete and half of it was dirt. We found an old door and a little old window behind some paneling. So we covered up the window and we turned the door into an egress window. And we, of course, put concrete down under the whole, for the whole floor. We scooted the furnace over so we had a little bit more room down here instead of having it semi in the middle of the room. And then, of course, we finished the walls and did carpet and drywall and nice lighting and just really made this a nice little sitting area. We put up these sliding bypass doors to cover the furnace and the hot water heater, and then had a little bit of storage space back there. So it's just usable space now. One of the coolest and I think most useful transformations came from this little mudroom laundry room area. So originally this was just basically a wall of cabinets and then a big drywalled barrier to the stairway. I wanted to do a railing that let some airflow through because this was originally probably an addition. I think you had to go outside to go into the basement. And what this did was make it where you can go downstairs without going outside. The neighbor's house, they have to go outside to do their laundry. So someone added this on at some point. So because the exterior of the house is stone, there was no ducting out here. So I did add a supplemental electric heater on a thermostat, but I wanted the air to flow as much from the vents downstairs and the vents upstairs as possible back into this space. So I thought having that open railing would help do that, hopefully help with airflow. Then I built these cabinets custom, the upper and lower, because they're a weird depth, but I knew we needed some storage in this space. And then I also did this little drop zone with the bench and the hooks because I wanted you to have somewhere to come in and take off your shoes if you came in through the back door. The two upstairs bedrooms are probably the least exciting and least renovated portions of the house. So I think the coolest thing we did was raising the whole ceiling on the upper level because we had that extra space, and that extra ceiling height makes a huge difference. Of course, we replaced all the windows. We added a closet in the primary bedroom because there wasn't one. In the second bedroom, I took down the closet to move it and then realized I liked it where it was, and so put it back. We did new luxury vinyl plank on all the floors. We added recessed lighting on dimmers in all of the rooms. And yeah, everything just basically got refreshed in each of these spaces. We completely opened up this kitchen living room area. We furred out the walls because the exterior were stone. So we furred out the walls with 2x4s to attach the cabinets and make sure they were secured really well. The floor was pretty out of level, so installing the base cabinets was quite a bit of work. This island is actually movable. I wanted something that you could move around because there wasn't like really a perfect place for it. So I put it on wheels. We added the gas fireplace because we just really wanted that in the space. And then we did overhead lights all on dimmers, different controls for different areas, added blinds, ceiling mounted curtains, and then refinished the back of that front door that we were able to save. So there she is, guys. I know I wasn't great about documenting this because I've been so focused on filming the DIY projects that I haven't really done full reveals and breakdowns of the projects. So I'll be better about getting footage on that. And if you want to see more of that, let me know. And I'll lean a little bit more into that for the channel. So thanks for taking the time to watch this. And I apologize that the footage was a lot of vertical in here, but I'll do better. Thanks.